The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar on security risk with fake apps. This webinar will be presented by Mr. Nikhil More. Nikhil is an online marketing expert at Wiki Technologies Private Limited, has a nine years of experience into digital marketing and has a passion for photography, usability, and technology. Nikhil is also a recognized expert in the internet marketing strategies for the antivirus industry. At Quick Heal, Nikhil is associated with the cybersecurity program, which is the company's corporate social responsibility initiative. I will now hand over the proceedings of this webinar to Nikhil.
Good morning to one and all, and welcome to today's webinar on security risks with fake apps. Now, when we talk about security risks with fake apps, we are more specifically talking about apps on the most popular operating system around in the mobile computing space, which is the Android operating system, and we would be more specifically talking about the Android apps. Now, to begin with, this webinar may have some technical queries, some technical interventions, wherein we have to explain how do the particular functionality or how do the particular attack happens and how do the execution of these fake happens. In case you have any doubts or if you have any questions about this, then kindly make a note of the slide number and or the slide name, and do send us your questions at corporatecommunications@quickheal.co.in, and we will do our best to answer all your queries. At the end of this webinar, we will also have a Q&A session wherein we will try to answer your questions about this webinar. Please be ready with your questions. We will try and answer as much as questions as possible and as time permits. After which, in case you have more questions, you can definitely email it to us and we will reply back to you individually. Now, without any further ado, let us begin with today's webinar. So, what are the security risks with the fake apps? I'm specifically talking about the Android platform. Uh, Very well, let's take a look at the agenda for today's webinar. So, as I said, today's webinar we'll be focusing more on the Android operating system. So, Google Play is the official app store for Android operating system. So let's look at a brief history about Google Play. Then let's look at apps and the permissions associated with it. What is the threat landscape that we are talking about? How does the threat spread? How are the users affected? What can users do to prevent threats? What are the best practices to follow? And most importantly, how can Quick Heal help you in case of any in case of any situations where you require help on your mobile to counter these attacks? Very quickly, the Google Play and its history. So Google Play, as I said earlier, is the official app store of Android operating system. This is an app store where this is the only place which is authorized by Google's, wherein officially you can download apps from. There are also third-party sources from which you can download apps, but Google recommends that you download apps from Google Play, or Android is recommends that you download apps from Google Play. So Google Play was launched on March 6, 2012 with a merger of Android Market, Google Music, Google eBook Store, marking a shift in Google's digital distribution strategy. As of early 2015, the Google Play Store had more than 1.5 million apps, that is 15 lakh apps live, and had crossed more than 50 billion, that is 50 billion. There are countless zeros here uh, to count those many app downloads. And this is, mind you, till early of 2015. We are almost in middle of 2015 now, so definitely we have more than 50 billion downloads have happened on the Android platform. Uh, let's talk about a threat scenario, a research report that came in 2000, early into 2013. This is very important because when the researchers looked at the top 100 paid apps on these popular platforms, which is Android and iOS, what they found is a very shocking fact that 78% of top 100 paid apps on Android and iOS were available with their fake or hacked versions on third-party websites or third-party app stores. Chinese app stores offered pirated iOS apps without the need to jailbreak. This was research by Extreme Tech in 2013. This is just to tell you that whichever app you think is a popular app and is attractive to you, or which is popular to you, just make sure that you're downloading it from the proper source and you're downloading it from the proper author of or the publisher of that app. This brings us to an interesting poll here. Let me pull up the poll for you. I would like to know from today's audience, uh, do you download apps from third-party stores, or do you download it only from the official stores? Let today's audience share their views on this. My question is, do you download apps from third-party stores? Now, when I say third-party stores, I'm not talking about the official app stores, which is Google Play in case of Android, and which is App Store in case of iOS. You have three options here to answer. First is yes, you download from third-party stores. Second is no, you don't. The third option is I don't download from third-party sites. I feel it is risky. Please cast your votes. We have close to 50% of today's audience casted their votes. We would give them another 20 seconds before we would wait for another 20 seconds. Let us wait for another 5 more seconds before we close this opinion poll and share the results. I think we have crossed. We have about more than 70% of today's audience casted their vote, and we have 75% of today's audience casted their vote. So I will now close the opinion poll and share the results with you. So for today's webinar, we have 36% of today's audience say that they download apps from third-party stores. 43% of today's audience say no, they do not download apps from third-party store, and close to 20% of audience today feels that they do not download apps from third-party stores as they feel it is risky. to download apps from third-party stores? So let me explain all these three answers to you. When we talk about downloading apps from third-party stores, it is not necessary that those stores may be legitimate. So what we recommend everyone to do is to download apps only from official app stores, which I earlier mentioned. For Android platform, it is the Google app, Google Play, and for the iOS, it is the official iStore where you can download those apps from. Always stick to that. People who said no, pat your backs, because this is a best practice you should follow. Never download from third-party app stores. And people who have marked this answer saying they don't know, they don't download from third-party stores as they feel it too risky. Definitely, there is a high amount of risk involved while downloading apps from third-party stores. Let me close this webinar and proceed with the next slide. So what are the basic permissions that are asked by apps? So if you have witnessed on the Android platform, before you download or before you install any apps, there are certain set of permissions that are asked. Now, according to a recent research study, malicious apps introduced through Google Play stores had increased by 388% between 2011 and 2013. The study also revealed that the number of malicious apps removed annually by Google had dropped drastically from 60% in 2011 to 23% in 2013, which means that the number of apps, malicious apps, had risen into 2011, which reduced in 2013, and 2015 it has reduced to further below, because Google Play uses their own algorithm of checking the fake apps and the malicious apps and removing it from the store. So they have reinforced their security as well when uploading apps and functioning of apps on these stores. Before installing an application, Google Play displays all the permissions that an app requires. A game may need to enable vibration. For example, uh, any of the popular games which include vibration may ask for that permission, but it should not need permission to read to messages or access the user's address book data. After reviewing these permissions, the user can decide whether to install the application or not. Possible app permissions include functionality like accessing the internet, making phone calls, sending SMS, reading from and writing to installed memory card, accessing a user's address book data. Security software companies have been developing applications to ensure security of Android devices. One such manufacturer claims that 20% of apps in Android market request permissions that could be used for malicious purpose, and 5% of apps can make phone calls without the user's intervention. This is not a claim that apps are actually malicious, but rather highlighting the potential of a malicious activity. Let's more look into the threat landscape. We have news about a lot of these malwares on the spree, on the wild, which are affecting the users' computers. Uh, and looking at all those things, the only message that we want to give you is, if you are surfing on the net without any security software installed on your device, you are not safe from dangers. So a security software is a need of the hour. Let's look into how do basically these threats spread, or what are these threats basically. When we talk about fake apps, what are the threats? So Quickheal has reported several incidents wherein malware came in the form of a disguised Android app. Samples of Android malware found include Android fake player.a. Now this came as a disguised media player. So it's not a media player, it's actually a fake app which which looks like a media player, which is actually not. Then we have an Android malware, which is Android tapsnake.a. This game is in the form of the most popular game, a very popular game on Android platform, which is Tapsnake. Very dangerous malware. Then was Android Gemini A. This came as a form of a Trojanized app hosted in certain third-party app stores, specifically in China. Android ADRD.A comes in the form of a Trojanized wallpaper app. Android Router.k, Android quick hill detection of Trojanized versions of legitimate apps like Falling Down. Android FakeRun.a, this is a fake app for one of the most popular games on Google Play, which is Temple Run. Android Fake Defender.a, this is a disguised app, and it disguises itself as a fake, as an antivirus, which actually is a fake antivirus, and it poses to be a popular app disguising as Facebook or Skype, but has hidden vulnerabilities in which and which are revealed once the app is installed. This app has also shown traits of ransomware vulnerability. Now, what ransomware is, very shortly and quickly, ransomware software is a piece of software which basically encrypts your entire data on the device and renders the device useless unless you pay to get a key to decrypt the information again. So ransomware is a problem, a threat faced not only by individuals but also by giant corporations, and this has been on the rise in the year 2015. So this is a threat which all of us, all the Android users specifically, need to be very careful about. How are the users affected? So there are apps like Android Droid SMS, which are designed to send unauthorized text messages and to premium rate numbers. When I say premium rate numbers, your regular SMS might cost you anywhere between 50 paisa to 1 rupee per SMS. But when we talk about premium rate SMS, then we are talking about an SMS rate which begins at 5 rupees and may go to any extent. Now, this leads to unnecessary and costly charges, and the user has to bear those charges because it has the SMS has gone from his device. Apps like Android Tapsnake, Android Gemini, Looter, Fake App puts affected users at the risk of information threat because what these apps do is they capture the data from your device, and this data is then transmitted to a remote server located somewhere else, where all your personal identifiable information, which includes your phone books, which includes a lot of personal information, is shared, is basically stolen from your devices and shared elsewhere. Now, there is a specific app known as Android Droid Snake, which we talked about earlier. In particular, uh, when used with another app known as GPS Spy, it can give out an affected user's GPS location, even if the former is not currently running on infected device. Similarly, and another malware, which is FSPY.A, monitors an infected device's GPS location. Mobile devices infected with this malware are also prone to security breach, as they enable a remote user to listen into the affected user's phone calls, and also it controls the infected device via SMS. Users whose mobile devices have been infected with Genemy A malware are at the risk of becoming a part of mobile botnet. Very quickly, what is a mobile botnet? It's basically a cluster of devices which are remotely controlled by a hacker from a remote location and is generally used to attack enterprise systems, which basically create threat to the enterprise security for information systems. And these Malwares are used as to create bot machines which will be controlled by any hacker who is controlling them from a remote device, remote location, may it be from another city, another state, another country, or another uh, you know uh, another continent as well. Let's go to the next threat, which is Android ADRD. Now, this is a primarily designed to click fraud Trojan that puts an affected user at the risk of exorbitant charges. As a part of information threat, Android Looter also affects infected devices. Rooting allows a remote user to gain root privileges to an infected device. This malware uses two well-known binaries, regaining uh, capability of controlling the remote device from a remote location. It is also capable of downloading and installing other apps onto infected devices without the user's knowledge. Users who downloaded the Trojanite version of Android Market Security Tool, aka BGSARB.A, are also susceptible to information threat. Mostly, the most important part here is compromised security, where there was very recently talked about a malicious app called as Google Korean IM. During installation, it requests for device administrator access. Some Android users might not recognize this as a problem, but granting that level of access gives the app far-ranging powers over your phone. Device admin apps can, for example, lock your phone or completely wipe it. Usually, we only see security apps or certain Google apps requesting for this level of access. But because this malware is after this information, it uses its device administration powers to watch over and listen to conversations happening from that device. This app monitors incoming calls and can even record those phone calls, presumably sending the recording off to a server located remotely. This app also pays special attention to SMS messages which the malware sends to a remote server. It can even capture victims' contact list. That's how dangerous this app is. What can users do to prevent these threats? Very simple steps that you should do. User vigilance remains the key to prevent the threat from infecting users' mobile devices. Before installing an app, double check what resources it seeks access rights to, which is basically permissions. Trojanite apps usually ask permissions to access information that may not be even related to what they are. Let me give you an example here. Say, for example, you are downloading a game. This game has nothing to do with your phone book. Might be, as I said earlier, is if the game requires, uh, like say for example, it's a racing game and it requires vibration, then it may request for that permission. But it has nothing to do with your GPS location or your phone book or your message book, unless and until this game requires you to send and receive data via SMS. So you need to be careful by reading permission as to, does this app really need to do that? Does, if you are not comfortable with the permissions, we recommend you should not install those apps. Trojanized apps, as I said, they require for permissions which is not really required. Like say for example, you are talking about a picture editor app, and it is requesting you to requesting you for MMS permission, which is not really required in cases where it might require internet for sure, but MMS is something which may not be required. So these are the permissions that should give you a hint as to does this app really require this permission? Should it ask for my phone book permission? Why does an picture editor app require a phone book where it doesn't need to communicate to anybody else? So now, why are these apps created? Because cyber criminals are behind mobile devices attacks, and they rely on the fact that users do not read through the end user license agreement before accepting them. So you have this privilege. So Android has a very strict policy where it has clearly mentioned that every app before it's been installed, they need to show the permissions. It's the user's responsibility here to read through all the permissions, uh, understand what these permissions are all about, and then install or uninstall the app. I mean, uh, the step needs to be taken after you have known and understood these permissions. This brings us to another opinion poll here. Let me bring up that poll for you. Do you think it's important to read app permissions before installing an app? We just spoke about it. The three answers are yes, one should read and understand all the permissions. The second option is no, it's not important. And the third option is I don't know. So please cast your votes, audience. As we just talked about reading permissions before installing an app. Do you think it is important that one should read and understand the app permissions before installing any app? The answer is yes, one should read and understand the app permissions. Second option is no, it's not important. And third option is I don't know. We have about 50% of today's audience casted their vote. Would wait for another 10 seconds before I close the opinion poll and share the results with you. Although there are third-party apps wherein if you download apps from third parties, then they do not have this mandate of showing the app permissions before you install. I think it's time now for me to close this opinion poll and share the results with you. Well, 89% of today's audience feel that yes, one should read and understand all the app permissions. So well done, audience. Give a pat on your back because this is exactly what you should be doing. You should read through all the permissions that app requires, understand them, and only then, if you feel you're comfortable, then install those apps. Or else, you always have an option of canceling the installation. For people who have voted, no, it's not important. I believe you might have your own apprehensions about it. And in case you have any doubts or you require more information, please feel free to send us your queries at corporatecommunications@quickheal.co.in, and we will be at your we will be there to help you with all the queries and questions you have. People who says I don't know, I think you still have doubts about what we have spoken earlier. In case you have any questions, again, as I said, please do send us your queries on in the chat option that we have here, or you can also SMS. I'm sorry, you can email us your queries. Let's move ahead. Now, let's talk about what are the best practices that you need to follow. Update your mobile device. Mobile devices are essentially small computers with software that need to be kept updated, just like a PC or a laptop. Make sure all the mobile devices in your house have the latest security protection. This may require updating your device with the help of a computer. Guard your personal information. Protect your phone or tablet device just as you would protect your own computer. Secure your mobile device by using a strong passcode, and be cautious about sites you visit and information you share on these sites. Think before you download an application on your device. Review the privacy policy and understand the specific data the app can access. Only download apps from reputable sources. We would recommend only from official app stores. Update your mobile device. Mobile devices are actually small computers with software, and you need to update them with the latest security patches. Protect your money when banking and shopping on mobile devices. Check to be sure that the sites are secure. Look for uh, secure apps, well-known apps. If you're shopping online, then do it via reputed apps. If you're not sure if the app is reputed enough, do some research on popular search engines. Ask your friends or family if they have shopped using the specific app, and once you are sure that the app is safe enough and can be shopped upon using the app on your mobile device, then only use app for shopping. When in doubt, don't respond. A simple rule: if you are not sure if the app is going to, help you, or if the app is going to benefit you, and in case you find some gray areas, I would like to call it as, or places where you find that the app is not going to really meet your requirements, I would say stop there and don't proceed with installing the app. Most important is stay informed, follow mobile security issues or news about it. Like I've shared earlier, a lot of news do come about fake apps and the effects of it, where millions and millions of get infected. If you don't want to be a part of that, it's always nice to know about things beforehand they occur. Talk to friends, talk to family, colleagues about these news, discuss, explore online resources like uh, Identity Theft Assistance Center or Security at Home websites, where comprehensive information about these topics, such as fake apps or safe online shopping, is given. How can Quick Heal help? The most important slide here is how can Quick Heal help? I'll explain one of the features by other. Scan devices, you have an option of scanning your devices for any vulnerabilities, any malware in your devices. You can do it through several options, which is quick scan, custom scan, schedule scan, uh, through which you can scan your devices for malware. Second is Security Advisor, where the Security Advisor feature in the Quick Heal Total Security for Android helps you or guides you about settings that enhance the overall security of your Android device. Privacy Advisor notifies and allows you to do quick inspection of the apps that might affect the privacy of your device. It also helps you review the permissions used by such apps, and you can decide whether to keep those apps or to remove them. Optimized device. This feature comprises the functionalities like performance monitor or network monitor, where it allows you to check the functioning of your device, extend your battery life, speed up your device performance, and view performance reports. Secure data. This feature offers the options where it helps you safeguard your priceless data by backing up the data on the cloud, restoring the backed up data on cloud, or delete the backup data from cloud, or delete personal data permanently. Set privacy. You have certain talks things in privacy here, which is call and message filter. It basically filters all your calls and messages. Unwanted calls and messages are stopped. International call block. These features allow you to block international calls. Message exception list. In case you get messages from non-numeric senders, then you can block those SMS. You have privacy protection, where the privacy protection feature of maintains the list of your private contacts and secures your call logs and messages associated with such contacts. Parental control feature helps you to block malicious and potentially dangerous websites. Background scan. Now, background scan secures the file system on your mobile device for malicious threats and phishing sites. It remains active in operating memory of the device and scans all files that are open or saved, including those on your memory card. Activity monitor. This extensive reports of activities performed by Quickheal Total Security on your device. This also includes data on blocked threats, updates, blocked SMS and calls, etc. Anti-theft feature, as it speaks for itself, Quickheal's anti-theft technology prevents your device from being misused. It allows you to lock your device or erase its entire data remotely. If it gets lost or stolen, Technology offers another layer of protection against theft with more advanced features that captures images of the device intruder, records audio and video, and automatically dials and receives phone calls. Security Shields displays the security level of your device and data through a graphical representation. By tapping the shield, you can configure the security settings of your device. Regulated and automated virus database updates. Quick Heal Total Security for Android receives regular automated security updates. Trusted SIM list. It's basically a list of features that allows to make a list of SIM cards that you trust and you are aware about. Remote device management, very important feature. This feature helps you to manage a lost or stolen device via QuickHeal's remote device management portal. The moment you install QuickHeal Total Security for Android on your Android phone, this facility also gets activated for you. You receive an email about this facility in your inbox. Quick settings notification. These intruder detection, as I said, will check for intruders of your phone and will capture pictures of intruders. If somebody is trying to unlock your device by putting by trying different passcodes or trying different passcode mechanisms, then after a few failed attempts, it captures the picture of the intruder of your device. Quick settings is nothing but is a one-touch access system for various device settings such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, mobile data, brightness, and torch. Well, this brings us to the end of today's webinar. Thank you very much for joining us in today's webinar. We have got an overwhelming response from all of our webinar attendees. As I said earlier, in case you have any questions, please do write us at corporatecommunications@quickheal.co.in. Please follow us on Facebook. The URL for Facebook is facebook.com/quickhealav. For Twitter, please follow our Twitter handle at twitter.com/quickheal. If you would like to follow us on Google Plus, the address is bit.ly/quickheal Google Plus. This webinar would be hosted on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/quickheal. This presentation would also be hosted on SlideShare. All the presentations in the prior webinars, including this, would be on slideshare.net/quickheal PPTs. For more information on QuickHeal products or to know more about our offers and schemes, please visit quickheal.com. To know more about or stay updated on the security world, please visit us at blogs.quickheal.com. I'm now going to hand over the mic to Saurabh to conclude these proceedings. I would like to say this again. Before I conclude this session, we would have a short Q&A session. If in case you have any questions, then you can ask us, and we would answer them. We have about 8.5 more minutes before we conclude the session, so I would try and answer as many questions as possible now. So let's begin with the Q&A session before we conclude the session. Okay, you can ask your questions here. In the chat window. Okay, we have our first question here. Just give me a quick second. I'll read through the questions. Okay, we have a question from Kushru Kerawa. Can a data bank of fake applications be maintained by Quickheal and simply remove them before they get downloaded? So we have a database of malware related apps where we identify those apps which are infected by malwares. And all those apps are reported to you before they get installed on your device. We scan through the apps to make sure that the app is clean. If that helps you answer your question. If you have need more answers, please do email to us and we will give you more detailed answers on this. Uh, okay, Mr. Anil Shelgaonkar has asked a question. Good morning. My question is, I am using my personal PC for logging into my bank account, thus using the same browser every time. But sometimes I receive messages that your account is logged in using a different browser. Please explain why this is happening. Well, Mr. Anil, this is something to do with multiple instances of login. Uh, Always remember, when you log into your banking app, make sure you log out every time. Although this is not related to today's webinar, but I'm still going to answer this question here. I've received a video regarding Samsung Galaxy Mobile battery. Is that true? I'm not sure what your question is, Pujara, Ketan Kumar, Dheeraj Lal. Please do email us with the link where you have received this video from. We will investigate it and will come back to you. How do we know if the apps are fake? This question is asked by Mr. Kailash Chaudhary. Well, to know if the app is fake or not, there are two things you can talk about. One is the number of permissions required by the app. So this is a clear giveaway. If an app is asking you for permissions which is really not required by them, like say for example, I am downloading an app, okay, and that app is asking me for a device administrator permission. Now, no app requires a device administrator permission unless and until it is a security app or a special app that is developed by Google. Now, a device administrator app is basically controlling the entire activities of the device, which also includes communication and which also includes the way the device interacts with other apps. So this is a very clear giveaway. If an app is asking for such permission, then it's definitely not a genuine app. It's a malicious app. You should stay away from those apps. The second most important giveaway is whenever you have these apps on third-party stores, these could generally be accounted for as fake or malicious apps. Not all of them are fake, mind you, but a few of the apps which are which are malicious are generally found on these third-party apps. So as I said, please avoid installing apps from third-party apps. Most importantly, review the publisher of the app. Now, all these apps have publishers. So, for you know about the publishers of the app. If you want to know more about them, use any search engine which gives you information about the apps and its publishers. So you know if the publisher is popular enough, and if your friends or family have used those apps by those publishers, then you can definitely go ahead and install. So these are the few I would say hints I would like to share with you, which will help you differentiate between fake apps and genuine apps. Is Amazon App Store safe? Well, if you have downloaded the app from genuine app, and if you know that the publisher of that app is the actual publisher, as I said in my while answering the last question, if you know that this is if this is a genuine one, then go ahead and install the app. That's not a problem. I think there is no option for scheduled scan. Mr. Arvind Singh has asked this question, where if you go to Quick Heal Total Security for Android, that application has all the features of quick scan, scheduled scan installed on it. Okay, this is a question from Mr. Satish Patil. Mr. Patil has asked us a question. We have Quick Heal mobile security license version. In few cases, although we have downloaded apps from Google Store, still Quick Heal have alerted us not to proceed further with those apps. Why and how it is so? If you say Google Play Store is genuine app downloads approved by you, please guide. Okay, so Mr. Patil, to answer your question, there are millions and millions of apps that are on Google Play. There are thousands of apps which get uploaded on Google Play every day. Now, what we do is we identify apps on the behavior of those apps. So we have a detection system based on behavior. We also have a detection system on the way the app operates. If any of the app that we have identified as a malware, or if we have identified that as an adware or a spyware, then we tell you not to go ahead with these apps. Now, as I said earlier, Google itself, the Android Play Store itself, has a mechanism of identifying these apps and removing. So, thousands of apps, as I said, get uploaded. There are also thousands which get removed from Google Play. But in the interim, if an app has to do a damage and which is maliciously put on the App Store before before Google knows that the app is malicious and before it gets removed, if you are in the process of installing the app, then we protect you from those apps. Let's move on to the next question. How to recognize a threat of mobile botnet? Dipali Shah has asked us this question. Now, in case you have any app, basically when we talk about these malwares come disguised as a genuine app. Like for example, I talked about a malware family which disguises itself as a Facebook app or a Skype app. It has the symbol of Skype associated with, but it's actually an app where it disguises to be a genuine app, but it's actually a malware. What it does is once you install those apps, these apps turn your mobile device into a botnet. So for you to identify if this if that app is a botnet or not, first, as I said, a rule of thumb: don't install apps from third-party stores. Always have a security application like Quick Total Security for Android installed on your device, which will tell you about those apps. Third thing is, if you're not sure about any app or the permissions that you read about the app, if you're not sure if that app is genuine enough, do not proceed with installations. Just read for the permissions. If you think that the app is asking for too many permissions and it does not require those permissions, check with your friends, your colleagues, ask a security expert if that app is genuine or not. If you don't find it genuine, please do not install that app. You can just abstain from installing. We have another question from uh, Lakshman Singh Rajpur. His question is, how can we sort out slowness of apps? So what happens is when you install or uninstall an app, there are a lot of you know there's a lot of data that gets remained in your device, and this data is nothing but junk data. If this data is not removed from your device, it actually uh, affects the performance of your device. In order to enhance the performance, in order to boost up the performance of your device, you need to remove uh, the unrequired files from, or the junk files from your devices, and security softwares like Wiki Total Security helps you do that. If a mobile Okay, if is it possible to alter permissions of an app? Mr. Mayur Bang has asked this question. Well, Mr. Mayur Bang, it's not possible for you to alter the permissions of the app because the permissions of the app are defined by the developer of that app. So whoever the developer of the app is, he basically designs the app in such a way that whatever permissions are required by the app are predefined earlier. So, for example, if you're talking about a restaurant finder app, the restaurant finder app will require two things. It will require internet connection. It will also require your GPS location to tell you which are the nearest restaurants or coffee shops around the vicinity. So these permissions are required by those apps. So when you are using an app which is a restaurant finder app, then you know that these app require these permissions. But there may be permissions that may not be required by this app, something like a device administrator permission or something to do with like for example, if the device wants to use maps, definitely for you to guide you to the nearest restaurant, it needs to use maps. But if there are permissions that are used by which are not required by that device or not required by that app, then you should not uh, you know install or proceed with the installation of that app. But again, you can't alter permissions for any app. uh, we have a question from Harshal Ahuja. WhatsApp Plus is a fake application or good? Is it a good app? Well, Harshal, to answer your question, uh, please check the permissions that the app uses. If you feel that it's not from the original publisher, we do not recommend you use those apps, because apps from genuine publishers should be used, because those are meant to help you and not to steal information from you. So if any of the apps which are not from the well-known publishers or from the original publishers of that app but have a similar name, you should check for permissions that they use. You should check for reviews about those apps. You should check with your friends. You should also consult a security expert, and then go ahead with installing such apps. How to know that my mobile is affected? This is a question by Mr. Avjeet Roy. To answer your question, to know if your mobile is affected, the first and foremost thing is, before you install any app on your mobile device, make sure your mobile has a security software that will keep you away from trouble. But if you are receiving high mobile bills, and in your detailed mobile bill, if you see that there are charges for SMSs that you haven't made, especially to premium rate numbers, or there are calls which have been made to numbers which you are not aware of, then it could be a hint that your mobile is infected. If your device behaves abnormally, if your device is connecting, or large amount of apps are being suddenly used by your devices, if your battery of your app is depleting at a very very fast rate, then all of these are hints that your device's security is compromised, and it might be an infection of a malware in your device. There are lots of traits that I will not be able to list down here in this webinar, but just to give you a hints, the things that I told you are hints which could tell you that the security of your device is compromised. We have another question from Harshal Ahuja. Google saves automatically photos. That's good to store photos on Google. Now, Google Photos is giving you an option to backup your photos. If you wish to backup your photos on cloud, you can avail of this option. Mr. Shakir Sheikh has asked us a question. Once you feel your device is affected, what should you do? Well, if your device is affected and you have got hints on it, the first and the foremost thing to do is to make sure the communication of your device is stopped. Do not connect your device to the internet. In case get your device first checked by a security expert. Try and install a security software if you can, and run that security software to make sure all the vulnerabilities are removed. In case you are still not be able to do it, then we recommend you speak to any other security expert, or consult your local uh, you know AMC vendors or somebody who can help you with this problem. So we have a question from Mr. Tushar Roy. Whenever I open a site, advertisements pop up and cover the entire screen. This is extremely disturbing. Can I stop it permanently? So, uh, Mr. Tushar Roy, if I understand your problem correctly, you are referring to adwares as your problem. So you see a lot of ads when you use your apps. You definitely should, look into using a very strong anti-adware, software which stops these ads from popping up at all times and disturbing you. If those ads are taking you to bad sites or opening up bad apps, then definitely you need a security help here. A security software can definitely solve a lot of your problems. Sachin Namaskar has asked us a question. Can you share the presentation about the dangers of fake app? Definitely, Sachin, as we have said it earlier, this presentation would be hosted on slideshare.net. So if you want to have a look at this presentation, definitely visit us on slideshare.net/quickhealppps, and you're able to see all those presentations there. I think we are running out of time here. We already have crossed our mark for we are 10 minutes over our 45 mark, 40 minutes mark of today's webinar. So uh, please don't worry, all your questions will be answered. I would just take one last question before I close today's session. One last question that has been asked by Mr. Mrityunjay Kumar. Do you have a Quick Heal mobile security app? To answer your question, yes, we have two versions of app. We have Quick Heal Total Security for Android, which is a paid app available on the Quick Heal website as well as on Google Play. This app is available to be bought from both these sites. We also have a free version of Quick Heal Mobile Security, which is available on Google Play. If you go to Google Play, please search for Mobile Security and Antivirus, and you will see the Quick Heal's Mobile Security app there, which you can download and start using. This app is free for usage. There are no charges to be paid for this app to be used. The Quick Heal Mobile Security app is available for Android only. I think I will answer all your questions in your individual emails. Thank you very much for joining us in today's webinar. Now handing over the mic to Saurabh to conclude the session.
Thank you everyone for being with us for this webinar. We hope this webinar has helped you understand the security risks with fake apps in a better manner. Have a great day ahead. Goodbye.